Rise and Grind, the best new cigar company. Let's have this conversation. And so today, without any further ado, we are going to be smoking the Chimolei. And so Chimolei has come on the scene. They just came out just swinging. We're gonna have a conversation about it. I got the entire lineup of Chimoleis. And so first we've got the Pangu. This is the first one that I smoked. This cigar, this is Ecuadorian Habano. This cigar, it tastes like salted caramel. And so one thing about this company, and so it's a brand new company. And so today we're gonna be talking about being new. And so this company, brand new, they've come out with 3 great cigars, 3 different wrappers, and they all have, there's a rich, luxurious, thick, silky smoke. They're all packed with flavor, different wrappers, different profiles. The Pangu, it's this salted caramel, just delicious, just perfect. Again, Ecuadorian Habano. The next one that they've got, this is the Dynasty. And so the Dynasty is this Ecuadorian Corojo. This one here, it's Ecuadorian Corojo, and it's also San Andreas binder. What's that gonna mean? That's gonna mean lots of just exotic, delicious, pleasant flavors on here. This cigar tastes like a raspberry chocolate cake. And so you get that dried fruit notes. You're gonna get, because of the binder, because of that Mexican San Andreas binder, you're gonna get those darker chocolate notes. Because of the Corojo wrapper, you're gonna get those fruit. And so this is that perfect dessert where, picture a raspberry chocolate cake. And so that's what the Dynasty is. This cigar is just absolutely delicious. And then the final one, just going in accordance with maybe strength, we got a Connecticut Broadleaf. And so this cigar, this is chocolate raisins. And so that's what it tastes like. And here we see, at a time where a lot of cigar companies are just raising prices, oftentimes given just boring, inferior products, the tobacco isn't aged. Here's this new company, just came out in 2024, brand new company. And they've taken 3 different wrappers, 3 different cigars, 3 different profiles. And each of them is delicious. Each of them is of high quality. They've kept the price relatively low. And so we're gonna have a conversation. Tonight, I'm gonna be smoking the Pangu. And so I just love Ecuadorian Habano. And so I'm gonna be smoking this while we have a conversation about being new. And so as I get the cigar set, oftentimes, when you're new, there's this idea that there needs to be this learning curve. I was in the military, I played sports, and so in the military, you call a boot when you're brand new. It means you don't know anything. It means you're gonna get hazed. It means you got so much to learn. In sports, when you're brand new, you're a rookie, which also means you don't know anything. You're gonna get hazed. You've got to learn. In fraternities, we call it a neo, which means you don't know anything. You got to get hazed. You've got to learn. But sometimes in life, just because you're new doesn't mean you don't know what you're doing. Just because you're new doesn't mean that you've got to go through some hazing. Just because you're new doesn't mean that you're not ready for the big stage. And so Chimolei has shown us that even though they're new, that they are ready. They are putting out better cigars than some legacy brands. They are putting out better cigars than some well-established, award-winning brands. There's some brands out here who they've been missing a lot. They used to be good, or their past several releases have been subpar. And here is this new company, a year old, putting out bangers. And so sometimes the rookie, sometimes the new guy, sometimes the neo, sometimes the boot can actually be ready for the big stage. As I'm enjoying this Pangu, and so I noted the salted caramel. It also has this just long lingering, there's this baking spice that you don't just get on the retrohale. It also hovers on your tongue. And so now it's like this salted caramel. It's, I would say, leaning more towards a cinnamon bacon spice as opposed to like a black pepper. Just delicious. And so that's the idea that the company makers went for. Rich, luxurious, almost exotic. And when you look at the wrappers that they use, you got a Corojo wrapper, you got a Habano wrapper, Connecticut Broadleaf wrapper. These are wrappers that rookies oftentimes can't start out with. But the fact that they started here, most of the times companies they're gonna start, keep it simple. Start with a nice, just a simple, easy wrapper. This company is showing that their tobacco is well aged, that their rolling is done. And so even though they're a year old, even though this is their first line up, they're showing that they had the chops. You see, when you are new, there's no time for that learning curve. What we're seeing now is a lot of the established legacies are putting out duds. A lot of the established companies who have won awards and they've gained reputation, a lot of the cigars they've been putting out hasn't been good. We've all been talking about it. You've smoked them and been disappointed. I think what happens sometimes is when you're not a rookie anymore, you start taking it for granted. You start cutting corners. Quality goes down. Tobacco selection goes down. And so some of these top companies who we've all come to respect, they've seemed to take a back seat right now. Why? Because their quality has gone down. Their blending is just not exciting anymore. It doesn't get us excited and eager to smoke them. But when you are new, you can't take those chances. When you are new and this is your first line of cigars, you got to hit it out the park. The taste has to be there. The construction has to be perfect. When you are new, you're not allowed to make any mistakes. You're not allowed to cut corners. You're not allowed to have bad quality or a boring subpar blend. When you are new, you got to come and you got to come swinging. And so that's what we see with this company, and we see it with so many other companies. It's these new companies who are now on the scene. This is what we're seeing with all the new companies. And so when we look at the Chimoleis, when we look at the Lamperts, when we look at the Principals and the Warp, notice what the newer companies are doing. The newer companies are pushing the envelope, giving us that taste, giving us that profiles that we've been asking for, giving us the quality and also giving us the right prices. When you are new, you gotta hit the ground running and you gotta understand and respond to what the people want. I think what's happened is the legendary makers, the legacy companies, they stopped listening because they've got market share. They've got the reputation. They've won the awards. And so they've stopped listening to the people. But the new companies, that's all they've got is the people. All they've got is the air of the people. They don't have the big marketing campaigns. They don't have the awards on the shelf. And so all they have to do is listen to the people. And so when you look at a company like Chimolei, again, the Principals, the Warp, the Lamperts, when you look at Definition, these companies are responding to what the people want. Because when you're new, you better be a good listener. When you're new, you better find out what do the people really want. And so I believe it's no accident that Chimolei has come out with 3 great cigars. I've been saying for some time, look, I'm tired of the earthy and the dirty and the spicy and the dirt tasting cigars. I want flavor. I want these kind of cigars. I want to talk about salted caramel. I want to talk about raspberry chocolate cakes. I want to talk about notes that are pleasing and pleasant for today. Because yes, 10 years ago, leather, espresso, Those were the notes we were going for. But we've changed. And sometimes the legacy, the legendary ones, sometimes those in power, sometimes they don't change as they should. And it takes the new guy, it takes the rookie, it takes the boot, it takes the new person that's going to come on the scene and change the entire conversation. Why? Because they are listening to the people. When you are the new guy, you got to listen and you got to respond. And there should be something that's different about you. You see, the legacy, the legends, they've already established. They are the status quo. The people know what to expect from them. If you are new and you're just doing what the legacy guys have done, then what's the point in even starting? We are always looking to see what difference are you going to make? What are you going to bring? If you're just going to be a copycat of what is already established and what's already done, then really what purpose and what value do you serve? What value do you add? And so whenever you are the new person, you got to ask yourself, what am I bringing to the table? What am I doing that's different? What am I doing or bringing that hasn't been done already? What is the value that I'm bringing? Because if all you can do is just do what everybody else is doing, if you sound just like everybody else, if your cigars just taste like everybody else's cigar, if you're going to the same factory, getting the same tobacco and just slapping on your band, we can pick up on that. We can taste it. We know it. We know the game. And so if you're just looking to do the same thing that everybody else is doing, then why even bother? So this is why you see so many of these cigar companies. I wouldn't even want to call them companies. It's just white label institutions. They go, they get the tobacco, they get the not even the tobacco, the cigars that have already been rolled for somebody else, rolled with somebody else in mind. They slap their name on there, call it theirs, and then say, I've got a cigar company. I don't really see that as being a company. I see that as being more of a clone. If you want to make a difference in this world, you can't just be a clone of what is already is. If you want to make a difference and make a mark and bring something to the industry, then you got to find out, how can I be different? What differentiates me? What am I bringing? You see, companies like Chimolei, they're bringing something new, something different, something that people have been asking for. They've been listening, and this is why they can just start so successfully. Friends, whatever you're doing in life, if you're working that job, don't just be another robot. Don't just be another set of hands. Don't just be another person going along with the mob. How are you different? What are you bringing? And especially if you're new. If you're new, people want that fresh breath of air, fresh ideas, fresh methods, new ways of thinking, new ways of doing things. The old, the tried, the true. Yes, that's what our foundation is built on. But we're oftentimes left wondering, where do we go from here? And who's going to help us to get there? How do we get to that next step? And if you're just going along with the mob, saying what everybody else is saying, doing what everybody else is doing, then what good are you really? To bring it back to my level, as I think about this channel, started this channel seeing that there was a lot of people doing whiskey content and cigar content. But I had to ask myself, since I'm going to be the new guy, what am I going to bring to the party? What am I going to do that's different? What am I going to do that hasn't already been done? What am I gonna do that everybody else isn't already doing? And so I came to it and I brought my own knowledge, my own personality, my own experiences, my abilities, my own passion, my unique way of doing things. As a result of it, in 2 years, we got over 10,000 subscribers. As a result of it, we have started something, conversations. We are changing things. Why? Because I didn't want to just do what everybody else is doing. What is the point of just saying what everyone else is saying? What's the point of doing a review if everyone's going to say the exact same thing? What value is that to anyone? What good is it to the world to have 50 cigar reviewers all saying the same thing? I'm always looking to see what differentiates me. What do I add to the conversation? I already know what everyone else is already going to say. What is it that only I can say? Can I share from my own unique experience? When you are the new guy, you got to realize that the legacy is set. The cigars are going to come out. People are going to smoke them, say what they think about them. Everyone else is going to do that. 50 people are going to do that. But what are you going to do different, especially if you're the new guy? Because the top guys are going to they're going to be in front of the line. And if when your moment comes, if you're just saying what everybody else is saying, then what good are you? You see, when you're the new guy, you got to make your mark. You got to hit the ground running. You got to come out swinging. You got to do exactly what Chimolei did. There's no time for mistakes. There's no time for poor quality. There's no time for you to be outworked. There's no time for you to not be innovative. There's no time for you to not bring the passion. You've got to bring it. You've got to make up for lost time. That's what Chimolei has done. I like to think that's what I've also done. When you hit the scene, do the work, find your niche, find your particular way of doing it, work with your passion, work with your quality, work based upon your own unique gifting. When you do that, you could be the new guy that is the talk of the town. That's what Chimolei has done. And my friends, I encourage you all to do the same thing. And so I'm excited to have these cigars, the Dynasty, the Pioneer, and the Pangu. To me, this company, I'd go as far as to say, I think this is the best thing in cigars right now, because what they are pushing us towards. Sometimes you need something that's new, that changes the entire conversation. And so we thank you for joining in on this conversation. If we've helped you, help us back. Hit the like button, hit subscribe, join us. We trying to get to 25,000 because we're trying to change everything. Thank you. Like, comment, subscribe, but most importantly, rise and grind.